In this video, I'm going to show you the best TV for PS5 you can get at every price range. No matter your budget, I will help you find the best pick for your needs. Let's go. First, we are going to take a look at the best options in the under $500 range. First, we have the TCL Q7. This television is an absolute beast for the PlayStation 5 at this price, giving you a full 120Hz panel with variable refresh rate to unlock those high frame rate performance modes in your favorite games. Its full array local dimming makes it get incredibly bright, causing high dynamic range highlights in games like Spider-Man 2 to really pop with color and intensity, looking much better than the other two televisions. The one downside I noticed is that the picture quality fades pretty quickly when you move off center, so it is definitely best for solo gaming sessions right in the sweet spot. Next, we have the Hisense U6K. The big surprise with this one is the mini LED backlight, which provides some of the best black levels and contrast I've seen under $500, making it fantastic for playing atmospheric horror games on your PlayStation 5 in a dark room. However, you are capped at a 60Hz refresh rate, so you will miss out on the ultra smooth 120 frames second gameplay that the TCL Q7 deliver. While it does support variable refresh rate to keep things tearing, I found its pixel response time to be a bit slower, resulting in some noticeable motion blur during fast camera pan. Finally, we have the TCL Q6. This is your baseline budget-friendly option, and its best feature for the PlayStation 5 is the extremely low input lag, which makes every button press feel snappy and instantly responsive. Compared to the other two, this is where you make the most compromises, as it lacks the 120Hz smoothness of the Q7 and the impressive mini LED contrast of the Hisense U6K. The most significant drawback for me is the total lack of variable refresh rate support, which means you will likely encounter some distracting screen tearing in games that cannot hold a perfect 60 frames per second. Next, we are going to take a look at the best options in the $500 to $1,000 range. First, we have the Hisense U7. For PlayStation 5 gaming, this TV is a spec monster on paper, packing a speedy 144Hz panel and mini LED backlighting, which makes bright highlights in games look seriously impressive. I did notice, however, that while the picture is bright and colorful, the viewing angles are quite narrow, and the processor can sometimes stumble with fast-moving action, leading to a bit of motion blur that you don't see on pricier sets. Ultimately, it offers premium gaming features like variable refresh rate for a great price, but you're trading that top-tier motion and processing for the fantastic contrast and smoothness a high refresh rate panel provides. Next, we have the TCL Q7. This one is all about brightness, and I found its full array local dimming and quantum dot panel push out an image that really makes PlayStation 5 games pop, especially in high dynamic range. Compared to the Hisense, it feels like it gets a bit brighter overall, but I also saw more blooming, which is that halo effect around bright objects on a dark screen. For your money, the TCL delivers a stunningly vibrant and responsive gaming experience with its 120Hz panel, battling the Hisense for the top spot by focusing on sheer brightness over the Hisense's slightly more refined backlight. Finally, we have the Samsung Q60D. Right away, this TV feels like the odd one out for a PlayStation 5, as it's limited to a 60Hz refresh rate, which means you cannot use the 120 frames per second modes many games offer. While I appreciate Samsung's punchy quantum dot colors and the snappy smart system, the edge-lit panel with no local dimming means dark scenes look gray and washed out, a massive step down from the deep blacks on the TCL and Hisense. Honestly, even with its low input lag, this TV leaves way too much of the PlayStation 5's power unused, making it a very difficult recommendation for gaming against these other two. Next, we're going to take a look at the best options in the $1,000 to $1,500 range. First, we have the LG B4. This is a fantastic starting point for any PlayStation 5 owner, giving you 4 full HDMI 2.1 ports, so you can run your games at a buttery smooth 4K resolution at 120Hz. Because this is an OLED panel, you get those perfect inky blacks and vibrant colors that make games pop, and the response time is so fast that I saw virtually no motion blur in fast-paced shooters. The main trade-off here is brightness. It's not the dimmest TV I've seen, but in a room with a lot of sunlight, it can struggle with reflections more than the other two on this list. Next, we have the Sony Bravia 8. Sony's image processing is just a step above here, making games look incredibly realistic and natural, plus it has special perfect for PlayStation 5 inches features that automatically tune your HDR settings for you. The sound is a huge highlight for me, as the entire screen acts as a speaker, which makes audio feel incredibly immersive and directional, a feature that LG and Samsung just don't have. The major downside for serious gamers is that Sony only gives you two HDMI 2.1 ports, which feels a bit stingy, and means you might be swapping cables if you have more than one next-gen console or a PC. Finally, we have the Samsung S85D. This model directly challenges the LG by also offering 4 HDMI 2.1 ports for your 4K 120Hz gameplay, and it packs in the very cool Samsung Gaming Hub for streaming games directly to the TV. I felt its screen got a little bit brighter than the LG B4, and the colors felt extremely punchy, which is great for cinematic games and helps it perform better in a moderately lit room. The one thing to watch out for is that its input lag when gaming at 4K 120Hz is a bit higher than both the LG and Sony, which might be noticeable if you play a lot of competitive online games where every millisecond counts. Next, we're going to take a look at the best options in the $1,500 to $2,500 range. First, we have the LG C4. This TV is a gamer's dream when it comes to connectivity, offering 4 full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports, so I never have to choose between my PlayStation 5 and my soundbar. The panel gets impressively bright for an OLED and supports up to 144 Hz for an incredibly smooth picture, which gives me peace of mind for any future console updates. While motion is crystal clear and input lag is practically non-existent, its colors, though beautiful, feel a touch more reserved and less vibrant compared to the stunning pop of a QD OLED panel. Next, we have the Samsung S95F. This television's QD OLED screen produces eye-watering brightness and some of the most vivid, oversaturated colors I've ever seen, making fantasy worlds on the PlayStation 5 look absolutely surreal. It pushes high dynamic range to its limits for a spectacular image, but it completely lacks Dolby Vision support, which is a letdown since many streaming apps on the PS5 use it. While the gaming performance is top tier, I find that the external One Connect box for all the inputs is a bit awkward to place, and the sheer brightness can occasionally crush the detail in very dark scenes. Finally, we have the Sony Bravia XR-A95L. The picture quality here is simply sublime, as Sony's processing creates the most accurate and natural image of the bunch, and the perfect for PlayStation 5 inches features automatically dialed in my high dynamic range settings perfectly. Its biggest drawback is a massive one for hardcore users. It only gives you 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, with one of them also being the eARC audio port, which feels very restrictive. So while it delivers what I consider the most cinematic and true-to-life gaming experience, you are paying a premium for that image superiority, while sacrificing the connectivity offered by both LG and Samsung. Next, we are going to take a look at the best options in the $2,500 plus range. First, we have the LG G5 OLED. This thing gets incredibly bright thanks to its micro-lens array technology, making HDR highlights in games look absolutely stunning. Way more impactful than the C5. It's a gamer's dream with 4 full-feature HDMI 2.1 ports, support for 4K at 144 Hz, and variable refresh rate, so everything feels buttery smooth. The only catch is its premium price and the gallery design that sits flush on the wall, which looks amazing but means buying a stand will cost you extra. Next, we have the LG C5 OLED. This is often called the sweet spot, giving you almost all the crucial gaming features of the more expensive G5, including those 4 HDMI 2.1 ports and 144 Hz gaming capabilities. While it delivers that perfect OLED black level response, it is noticeably dimmer than the G5 and the Sony, so those bright explosions won't have the same searing intensity. I will say, unlike its more expensive sibling, this one actually comes with a stand right in the box, making it a more practical and less expensive setup out of the gate. Finally, we have the Sony Bravia 9. This TV is a mini LED powerhouse designed to be the brightest of the bunch, which means it will absolutely dominate in a bright room where the LGs might struggle with reflections. Sony includes its perfect for PlayStation 5 features that auto-calibrate your console's picture, but I find it frustrating that it only comes with 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, which is a real problem if you have a soundbar and another device. You're essentially trading the pixel-perfect blacks of the LGs for this TV's raw, blinding brightness, and Sony's incredible image processing that makes motion look super clean. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you found this video to be helpful, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future.